And like I said before, people will automatically interject themselves as the protagonist. People will automatically, when you tell stories and metaphors, people put themselves into a somewhat hypnotic state because we're told stories from a child. Our parents sit us down, tell us stories, rub our head, put us to sleep, whatever it may be, right? It puts us in a bit of a state where we're very open to suggestion.
Yeah, and like the best time you ever have is when you catch up with mates, and it's not about the things you do. You just sit there and talk about all the good stories you have.
Yeah, and you've said them all 10 times before, and they get better and better each time. But it allows you to visualize, and it's just a very powerful technique, which is why everyone has that friend that's could just tell a story, and it's hypnotic. And everyone else, just as soon as that person, like in our friends group, it's Pat. Believe it or not, it's not me. It's Pat. And Pat is one of the most. He's an extraordinarily charismatic person, and he's a phenomenal storyteller. And when he tells a story, everyone shuts the up. Yeah. And he's a very successful speaker. He's a world-class dog trainer and travels the world, has a YouTube channel, which we'll put in the link below. It's a really dope channel, actually.
If you've got a dog, definitely give it a sub. Okay, so develop.
You ever seen a dog?
Seen a duck.
Nobody will get that reference.
Yeah. Unless you're on our team, you don't understand that. Yeah, so like developing stories. Why do you need your own stories?
Well, this is a good question, James, and I'm glad that you asked it, because you can't tell my stories, because otherwise the manner in which you tell it is not going to have much conviction.
Exactly.
Unless you're a good liar or a good actor.
It's like telling a joke and you miss the punchline. Everyone just sits there and go, cool, thank you. You know, you need the...
I'll tell you what a great power move is. Whenever somebody says a joke or is telling a story and it's like finished, but it's sort of a little bit anticlimactic, you go, hey, mate, I can't wait to hear the rest of that story. I'll just be right back. And you know it's over. They're like, that was it. And you're like, oh, that was good for you. That was good. Okay. Anyway.
Or you just give them good chat.
Oh, okay, cool. Anyway, yeah, man, I got to run. Yeah, so you need to have your own story. You need to be able to develop. Like everyone has had difficult things happen. Everyone's had life experience. Everyone's had to overcome a challenge or just do something that was outside of their comfort zone. It's about kind of sitting back and identifying those, and then having some analogies. Like I like to use animals because it's just I think it's very easy.
People like animals.
Well, yeah, and people can visualize, right? Like you want to make it. If you make it too specific and too hard for people to visualize, like if you're like, so picture a spaceship and then the propulsion, right? It's like, it's just got to be easy. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh, that makes sense. Like I hadn't thought of it that way. Or, oh, yeah. And then if you have your own stories, then it just makes it way easier, because like the level of conviction and confidence that you can speak with it, and the level of emotional connection that you can have with your prospect is on a different level. Because like if I'm willing to become deep and vulnerable with you, then you will naturally do the same with me, because vulnerability is it's a handshake. If I give it to you, you give it back. And
vulnerability is mirroring.
Yeah. And also it's trust. I'm not going to tell someone I don't trust something deep and personal about myself. And if I do, it means that we're creating trust. And so if I trust you, then you'll probably trust me. And then you'll still tell me something about yourself. And then all of a sudden, the connection you have with a prospect is very different.
Coffee's for closers only.